Cameron Heyward tells the Pittsburgh Steelers that he needs help on the defense line and to go out and sign some free agents. So, let's just talk about the Steelers' defense line for a bit. The Steelers' defense line really struggled early on in the season, especially late in games, allowing teams to run out the clock on them. And the one game that comes to mind is the New England one, where Mac Jones would just hand the ball off repeatedly to Ramondre Stevenson and Damien Harris, and they were able to run out the clock and not give the Steelers the ball back, to not give them another chance to win the game. Well, Cameron Heyward on his podcast was kind of crying out for help, saying that he needs help on the defense line and for the Steelers to go out and sign some guys. He said, "We need some D-line help. We still got to sign some guys there because we don't have a lot of guys on the D-line as it is. I know we re-signed Larry Ogunjobi back, but we're trying to get some pieces back." So, he's basically saying that he needs help on the defensive line and he can't do it by himself. You look at the one piece that they brought back, the one big move so far in free agency that they made was obviously re-sign Larry Ogunjobi, and he's a huge part to their defense line and why they stepped up from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the Steelers were dead last in run defense, but this past season, the Steelers were a top 10 run defense group, and Larry Ogunjobi was a huge part of that. But since only because Larry Ogunjobi blows up plays and Cameron Heyward blows up plays doesn't mean you could just always rely on them and you don't need anyone else. You need depth pieces behind them. You need a true inside defensive line and nose tackle to be able to absorb run defense and not just give a whole load of work to a 34-year-old Cameron Heyward. This is late in his career. He shouldn't be asked to be the main guy in stopping the run. But the past couple seasons, he has been. And just looking at the Steelers in general, they lost Tyson Alualu right now to free agency. And also, when you look at their nose tackle, they don't have a guy who's a definite starter in this league. Right now, looking at their depth chart, at nose tackle, the starter is Montavious Adams. And he's not a starter in this league. I'm sorry to say it, he's a depth piece. He's a guy who should be behind and kind of rotational piece. He should not be a starter nose tackle in this league. So, Cameron Heyward on his podcast said that they need to go to look for some guys, and that's definitely what they need to do. Heading into the group, you have DeMarvin Leal coming off an injury. I know he's a piece that the Steelers drafted last season, but he's not an inside defensive lineman. He's more of an edge rusher because of his weight and is able to move around. So he's not really a true powerful guy. So the only guys right now inside the defensive line that they have is a 34-year-old Cameron Heyward, Larry Ogunjobi, and Montavious Adams. They need to go out and get some guys. And if you're going to tell me that yes, they're going to do it in the draft, well, I'm going to say this. The Steelers, even though they should draft a guy at nose tackle or defensive line who could absorb the run and be a huge part of the defensive line moving forward, you don't want to have to go into a draft being like, we need to fill this position of need. You want to go into the draft where if the best player available is there, you take him, even if it's not a position of need. You want to get the best players available in the draft because that will help you out long term. If you're just going into the draft saying, we need to fill this position, this position, this position, yes, you're making your team full as a whole, but you're not getting the best player available that could be a superstar moving forward. So, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about the Steelers defense line? Do you like it the way it is right now? Or do you want them to go out and sign guys in free agency to help shore up that group? Or do you think they should just look towards the draft? And let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you have a guy in mind, either from free agency or the draft, let me know that as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content, analysis, and reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. Click the bell down below. I'm going to be covering all of free agency, also all of the draft, doing player reports who Steelers should draft, who they shouldn't. So, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.